Gléfa, hamis bin ich yn bechorgyn stolche tásach ma ha sin ó cearca leor leis na dúine ha gopur na gráichin technicach. Fiscar ma hula duine agus fáil tar a bhula go session fistrachi mu BA Gaelic agus fáildom ag Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. A sin chótálaite go bhfuil uiaca vis a chúrsa chickish gacking. Hello to you all and welcome to tonight's information session on the BA Honours Gaelic and Education at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. That's a Gaelic medium teaching course for Gaelic medium teachers at primary or secondary level. This is the first of several sessions where you can hear more about Sabhal Mòr Ostaig's courses and hopefully find one that interests you. I'm going to speak in English for most of tonight's session, as I'm aware that we'll also be joined by Gaelic learners, and that's all fine. However, our presentation will be in Gaelic, so we'll hopefully be able to move seamlessly between both languages tonight. You'll also have the opportunity at any point during the session to put any questions you might have in the chat box, and we'll do our very best to answer these questions for you during the evening. Some quick introductions. First of all, it's me, Shona NicCarmaig. I'm Shona NicCarmaig. I live in Portree in the Isle of Skye, and I work in teacher education at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. I'm the programme leader for the BA Gaelic and Education. My background is in secondary Gaelic teaching and in pupil support. So I've had the opportunity to be involved in application processes from both sides. You'll also see on the introduction slide there, you'll see my contact details on the slide if you have any further questions about the course once we finish tonight. I'm delighted to welcome some other panel members tonight. We're very lucky to be joined by a former student and a current student on the course. I'll let them introduce themselves to you. Rachel and Toshach.
Hello, it's Misha Vernich. Hello, my name is Rachel, and as you can see, I'm currently based in Dunoon. I'm a secondary Gaelic teacher, and I graduated from the BA Gaelic and Education course back in 2020. So this is my third year teaching now.
2020. Agus Christina.
Hello, it's Misha, Christina. I'm in my third year of the education course, and I started by doing Cursa Comish 2 years ago.
Glad, Christina. My colleague, Gwen McQuarrie, who works very closely with me on the course and has particular expertise in Gaelic medium primary teaching and is also a former primary head teacher. She's currently on her way back from UIST. She's at the mercy of CalMac at the moment. So she's been visiting students on school placements. So hopefully Gwen will be able to join us later on in the session, and we'll be delighted to welcome her then. I think we're going to get the ball rolling with a wee poll. We're going to make sure that you're all awake out there, and we're going to get things started just with a wee poll, which will come up on your screen shortly. Okay, so we're waiting to hear. Oh my goodness, everybody has been to sleep. Isn't that wonderful news? That's great. We don't need to tell you about the beauties of Skye and the beauties of Slate. That's great. That's good to know. So that's just a wee something to get us started. So if you've been in Slate, I'm sure you've certainly seen, and you've probably been to Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. So that's a very good start. I think we'll go on now and just here's a wee opportunity for you to get a wee blasset, the wee taster of college life at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. So you can sit back with your cup of tea and relax. And if you've never, well, you have been to Skye before, you've all been to Skye before, but perhaps if somebody is watching this this video again, you're in for a treat, and we'll find out a little bit more about Sabhal Mòr Ostaig and as I said, the beauties of Slate. That's said like a true skianach. That's just a wee taster of life at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. I think you'll agree that it looks and it is very different from life at a city university, but I think you'll also agree that there really can't be a more beautiful campus anywhere in the world. It really is quite spectacular on good days and on bad days. On stormy days, it's quite an amazing place. So I thought we'd carry on now and have a wee think about the course. About the course itself. You'll no doubt be aware that there has been tremendous expansion in Gaelic medium education across Scotland in recent years, and also a huge surge in interest in learning Gaelic too. I know the figures for Duolingo just came out the other day, and they really are quite incredible. So you'll no doubt also be aware that there are great career opportunities in Gaelic teaching in primary and secondary at the moment. And the BA Gaelic and Education at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig is especially designed for students with an interest in teaching through the medium of Gaelic. And that's really a very important selling point for us. It's not just a teaching course, it's a Gaelic medium teaching course. So you'll know that a teacher at any level needs to be able to lead learning in their own classroom. And in order to be the best teacher you possibly can be working in Gaelic education, it's really important that you gain fluency in the language. As a primary teacher, the curriculum is vast. You need to be able to teach in all areas of that curriculum. As a secondary teacher, you need to be able to teach up to higher and advanced higher through the medium of Gaelic. So it is demanding, but there really is nowhere quite like Sabhal Mòr Ostaig to offer you that opportunity. You work in Gaelic, you are assessed in Gaelic, you order your coffee in Gaelic, you socialise in Gaelic, and this teaching course is the only course in the country that could offer a 4-year course in Gaelic teaching to fluent speakers and learners alike, and to students interested in primary or secondary Gaelic teaching. And again, I think that is a a real selling point of the course, that the students work together, primary and secondary, and learners and fluent speakers work together across all years of the course, and get to know more about each sector, about the different sectors, even the one that they're not focusing on. So before starting at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig, you would be interviewed to determine which language course you would follow in year 1 of the course, whether you would follow an Cúrsa Comais, that would be the learner's course, and that would be your stepping stone to fluency, or whether you're already a fluent speaker and you would follow the Gaelic agus Connaltrug course. And everybody in year 1 of the course would learn on campus in the first year. We feel it's very important as part of the Gaelic identity, and as part of a cohort of students. We want you all to be there together. If you're thinking about doing the Cúrsa Comais and then going on to the education course, the immersion course, as I was saying, just offers you an excellent springboard to fluency as a learner, and you're learning in a very rich Gaelic environment. You learn by using the language in real life situations. You're not just learning out of a book, and that is quite special. And I'll probably ask Christina in a wee minute to tell you a little bit more about the course. The education modules on the course, we've changed the structure of the course this year, and so education now starts in year 1 of the course. When Rachel and Christina started in first year, they didn't start their education or their teaching elements of the course till 3rd year. So things have changed quite considerably on the course over the years. So students now complete an education module in year 1. And that consists of an education seminar each week and a 3-week school placement at the end of February, beginning of March. And then in year 2, students continue to build on their language and their cultural knowledge and fluency. And they also complete 2 further modules in education in year 2, a contextual module, which traces the history of Gaelic and immersion education up to the present day, and another education module which continues to build your skills and your knowledge of education, and that includes 6 weeks of school placement. So all this is news to Christina and Rachel, because this isn't the course that they followed, but this is the course that our current cohort in year 1 are now following. And if we have a quick look at what's in store for you in years 3 and 4 of the course. Yeah, we won't go into that in huge detail at the moment, but you can see these are the essential modules that you have to do in this part of the course, and you'll see that there's a good balance between language and education modules in years 3 and 4. And as you progress, you work more on your teaching skills and professional knowledge and your practical experience in school placements, building gradually to being responsible for the organisation, teaching, learning and management of classes over a sustained period of time in school. And you'll see on the screen that in year 3, students now complete 9 weeks of school placement and 12 weeks in year 4, before moving on to a teacher induction year. That would be your probationary year with a local authority somewhere in Scotland. So we're hoping that the increase in school placement time provides students with greater opportunities to learn and to become familiar with the role of the teacher, not just in their own classes, but right across the school community. So that's just a excuse me, a very quick word about the course, and hopefully we'll be able to get a chance now to look at things in a bit more depth, and we'll be able to hear as well from our panelists. As I was saying, there are two routes into the second year of this course. You can either take the Cúrsa Comais, the Gaelic immersion course for intermediate level learners, or Gaelic as Conaltrig for fluent speakers. And we're very fortunate to have panel members tonight who have taken these two different routes. So I'm going to start with Rachel, if that's okay, Rounich. I'll start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your own background, how you came to teach and Gaelic at secondary level, and how Gaelic agus Conaltrig worked for you?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Dingwall, which is a small town near Inverness, and Gaelic's not very strong within the community of Dingwall. However, it was always one of my favourite subjects in school. So I always kind of had an interest in Gaelic. And then when I was always interested in teaching. However, I kind of graduated towards primary teaching throughout my time in school. So that was kind of my goal. I knew I wanted to do teaching, but I was a lot more focused on primary teaching. I think because whilst I was in high school, I couldn't see myself being in a teacher role in a setting that I was currently doing the opposite. So then I went to Sabhal Mòr, and I was still focused on primary teaching. However, once you go into first year at Sabhal Mòr, you don't need to decide. You have a bit of time to decide in first year if you want to do primary or secondary. So don't be panicking if you think, oh, but I don't know which route I want to go down. You have time. And one of the things that I was really grateful for were the 3 weeks of work placement that you do in first year. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And whilst I was in high school, I did a lot of work experience in primaries to kind of fill my UCAS application. So when I was at Sabhal Mòr, I thought, since I've removed myself from high school, why not go back? So I went back in the 3 weeks that I was on work placement, and I really enjoyed it. I think just being away for a while and then going back, but seeing it from a different viewpoint, it really changed my mindset on secondary teaching. And I loved the way that the timetable worked. I really enjoyed teaching subjects that I just studied myself. It gave me kind of a lot of confidence. So that's when I decided to do secondary, and then I followed it along. So definitely the work placements in Gaelic and Conaltrig was so beneficial. Really enjoyed it. But the course itself was fantastic. I think by the end of the first year of doing Gaelic as Conaltrig, I felt a lot more confidence with my Gaelic. I was very fortunate that my classmates were using Gaelic, in every single situation. The whole year was, as Shona mentioned, we were socialising in Gaelic, we were using it out of the college if we went on trips. We would hardly speak any English, and I really needed that. I needed that immersion. I needed to keep it going. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It is a challenging course, but in the best way. It really pushes you to kind of enhance your skills and develop your vocab. And there's still times now that specific words I use, and it reminds me back to when I learnt them during the course. So yeah, it's good.
No, tapla it. I shouldn't give my female. That's a great insight into starting the course and to starting to think about, well, I don't know if I want to be a high school teacher or a primary teacher. And as a secondary school teacher myself, I always wonder why nobody is interested. Not, I don't mean nobody, but why fewer students come through as being interested in secondary teaching. And I think perhaps, as Rachel was saying herself, you're not that long out of school, and it's sometimes you're not that long out of school and you think, well, I just left school. Am I ready to go and face 16 and 17-year-olds and try and work with them and control them and manage their behaviour and all the rest of it? And it is it's something that you need to, that you want to do. It's something that you work at. You don't walk into the classroom immediately and and hey presto, everything is fine. And I'm sure Rachel would agree with that. It would agree with that as well. But it is such a rewarding job, and I would say as well that as a having worked with Rachel on the course, I feel very proud to to be sitting with the likes of Rachel here tonight, working very successfully in secondary education in Gaelic in Dunoon. And so our students have have thrived once they've left the course, and are contributing to Gaelic medium education at primary and secondary level throughout the country, which is great news for us and great news for Gaelic education too. So tapalathers and sin around it. Christina, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be at Sabhal Mòr and how you came to do the Cúrsa Comais and then started to consider a career in teaching tapalath?
Well, there's Gaelic in my family, but it was never passed on to myself or to my sister. So I've always kind of been aware of it, even though I wasn't able to speak it myself. But it was only a few years ago that I sort of decided this was the time to start learning. So I'm from Glasgow, and I had done a course in Glasgow that sort of got me up to sort of the right level to be able to come to Sabhal Mòr Ostaig to do Cúrsa Comais there. When I had left school, I had gone to uni before, and it was after I graduated that I had done some teaching English as a foreign language. So already, once I'd started learning Gaelic, I sort of had an idea that I would probably want to go into teaching eventually. Because I had already had a degree, I kind of assumed that I would just go for the PDGE. But then once I had started learning about the BA, it just seemed to make far more sense for me to go down that path. I mean, kind of what Shona and Rachel were both saying is just that apart from being on the course, it's the opportunities to use your Gaelic around the college that really brings it on. So Cúrsa Comais is fantastic. I really enjoyed it, especially during that first semester. You're really just focusing on getting your language skills up to speed, and then moving into the second semester, you're then doing different modules. So you're learning about other things through Gaelic, and that prepares you well for then going on to the second year and doing other subjects and the other modules that you'll be doing alongside the film modules. And yeah, the opportunities just to use Gaelic when you're buying a coffee, just chatting with your classmates between class. Even I know that when you start in Cúrsa Comais, maybe you're not always feeling very confident in your language skills, but just do what you can. Especially with your classmates, if you just get used to speaking, that's how you become comfortable with it. It'll help your confidence. I know, especially if you're at this stage and you're thinking about going on to do a teaching degree, but you're not fluent in the language, it probably seems like a really daunting thing, but I promise you that Cúrsa Comais is the way to go, and it would absolutely get your language skills up to scratch. As well as all the other great stuff that goes on at the college as well. Everything through Gaelic, that's the best thing about it. Where else can you do that? It's really special.
Tapalath, Christina. Sorry, how cares it is special. And I notice that we've been joined by my colleague Gwen, who has just blown in off the minch.
And more ways than one. It was a bit choppy. It's lovely to be here tonight.
Tapalath, Gwen. Gwen will get a chance to put her tuppence worth in yet, I'm sure. But it's great to have you with us tonight, Gwen. Tapalath or sin. Agus tapalath Christina on Neva Usa Grakuchak. That was very useful. Christina and Rachel, and I think I'm correct in saying Gwen too, because Gwen was also a student at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. We all know that moving to university is a big step, a massive step, and we automatically think of moving to the city. I went to university in Glasgow myself, so I don't have your knowledge of going to university in a more rural setting. Did you have any worries about moving to Slate, about student life in a rural setting rather than in the city? Were you looking forward to it? Do you have any thoughts about that, Christina or Rachel, or indeed Gwen?
Absolutely. I was really nervous about it, if I'm honest. I had only visited Skye maybe a couple of times during my time at school. The most recent time I went was actually just before the summer holidays. So just after I found out that I was going to Sabhal Mòr, I kind of went for a tour up there. And I was kind of, I suppose it's the fear of the unknown. I didn't know what to expect about university in general. And also I don't have much of connection to the island or any island. So I know that there is a certain lifestyle in the islands that you kind of learn about in school, you know, through poetry and things. So I didn't really know what to expect, and I was a bit nervous that it would be really quiet and that there wouldn't really be much to do, even travel, because I didn't drive until my 3rd year at university. So that was kind of a worry I had as well, is, well, I don't have a car, so how am I going to get to the island? How am I going to get off the island? But I must admit, Sabhal Mòr was one of the best times socially, you know, because it's such a small community, and if you live on the college, you really do make an effort. We have the student union. I say we have like I'm still there. We have the student union, which organise a lot of events throughout the year, ceilidhs, nights out to the pub, really creating such a lively atmosphere. And in terms of driving, you don't need to worry because everyone's so friendly. You always have a lift. There's always people that will take you along if you need. There is the ferry as well, which is really close by the college. So yeah, I don't know if Katrina could add to that, but I was very nervous about it. But there's no need to be.
No, exactly the same thing. I didn't know what to expect at all, and I hadn't visited the college. I think maybe I had been to Skye once or twice, but mostly just sort of to drive through it to get to the ferry. And I had got the bus up from Glasgow, and I remember I was in the taxi going from Broadford to the college, and I don't think I've ever been so nervous in my life. And I was practicing my Gaelic lines in my head for when I got up to reception to collect my key. And you know, as soon as I arrived, it was absolutely fine. There was nothing to be concerned about at all. Everybody's so welcoming and friendly, and you do, like I had mentioned before, you do your best with your Gaelic. It's fine. And I also don't drive as well, but there's always plenty of people who are offering lifts. There's also, there's the college car and the minibus that people often take out for. You can just hire it to go on trips and things. If there's something going on somewhere else in the island, quite often a group of folk will go up. There's the things that go on, sort of the social events and stuff, is all organised by the students. So it's just sort of whatever the students want. That's what gets organised, and that's what you have to do. So there's nothing to be worried about, and everything's sort of there for you that you need. I've never had any bother with it at all. I love it.
That's great. Yeah, I think it is a very close knit community, and also, you know, close to the actual community of Slate as well. You know, it's sitting nestling in the community of Slate, and I think everybody does get to know each other well, and I think they actually have a lovely social life as well, which is very good. There's a bit of work to be done too, but of course they're students, and of course they're wanting to socialise at the same time. That's perfectly understandable. Everybody as well asks about accommodation, and as we know, that's been a real issue in the cities this year. we're delighted that we're able to offer on-campus accommodation to students for every year of their course if they need it. So I think again that is a real plus point, that you don't have to worry about going to find accommodation. There will always be a room for you while you're on a course at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig, and we're delighted to be able to say that, and I know that not every university is able to say that at the moment, and it has been very tricky for them. And you'll probably be able to check more closely, have a virtual tour of all aspects of the campus on videos on SMO TV and on the website. I don't know if Christina or Rachel have any more thoughts about accommodation and eating and
the nicest accommodation, I think, out of all universities in Scotland. You know, ensuite, nice big wardrobe, you know, comfy bed. I loved it. It was so good. And I think as well, that's what really added to the experience at Sabhal Mòr, is that you are kind of living with your mates. You kind of see them all the time. You really have that bond. You know, I still speak to a lot of my mates that I met at Sabhal Mòr, and you really do bond over that experience. The other thing as well is that there's always things going on at the college. It's not just the students at Sabhal Mòr. There's always people visiting the college, and there's always events organised at the college as well. You know, you can see in the photo there in the background, we have a gym that gets used. Like there's been a lot of development at the college to really create a sort of community, and yeah, and the food as well. It's great, breakfast, lunch and dinner. Fantastic. Yeah,
I was going to mention, because it wasn't around in my day, because that wasn't yesterday, but the self-catering options that are now available at Sabhal Mòr in student accommodation, which is a huge another plus point, that you've got the option now. You can get well fed morning, noon and night in the canteen, or you can also choose a self-catering option, which is a fantastic development for anyone that's maybe likes to cook themselves rather than be cooked for. I can't say I'm one of those.
Gwen's obviously had macaroni tonight, but no, Taplat, that is worth saying as well, that there is now some self-catering accommodation available too at the college. Taplat there, Shona Sin. So just moving on and maybe thinking a little bit more about been thinking about the social side of things, where people live, where people are eating and getting to know each other, and that's all very important. I think I said already, and the panel members have said that, you know, that one very important aspect of this course, and if somebody would say to me, well, how is this course any different from any other teaching course? Well, it's that you're learning from day one in an immersive Gaelic environment. So the stronger your Gaelic identity, the stronger the Gaelic identity, hopefully, that your pupils will have when you start teaching. All discussion, all classwork, all assessments are in Gaelic, and we feel that this prepares you very well to lead learning and to support your pupils in their learning in Gaelic classrooms, whether that's in Gaelic learner classrooms or in a Gaelic medium education, and that is very important to us. I'm sure a lot of you would want to know as well about the school placements and how they work. Do you just say, oh, I fancy going to that school, and yes, that's sorted? Well, it doesn't quite work like that. I'm afraid you can't choose which school you go to, but you do provide an address and postcode, and then you're matched to a suitable school. You're not expected to travel any further than 90 minutes to placements. Now, we recognise that that's a long distance, and we do try to keep it as far below that as we possibly can. And sometimes if you're going to be too far away on a placement, then we would organise accommodation for you on those placements, and that would be at no extra expense to yourselves if that were to happen. So you can do your placements near your own near your term time address. That would be Sabhal Mòr Ostaig, or your home address too, if you have access to suitable Gaelic school placements nearby. Don't know if any of the other panel members would like to add anything to that. Gwen, is there anything I've missed out there?
It was just struck me when you were talking there about what makes it different to other courses. I don't think we can make enough of the point that it is an immersive environment and building your Gaelic identity, but that your fluency will be second to none after 4 years on this course. It's also 4 years, so it's the shortest undergraduate programme and the only one that's entirely in Gaelic. So your fluency, not least your conversational skills that Christina mentioned earlier, your day-to-day at Sabhal Mòr, not least that kind of more normal or more day-to-day conversational language will be highly fluent, but also your professional ability when you leave the course as well. You'll have had lots of opportunities for your vocabulary. I know that Rachel and Christina will have heads full, scrambled with lots of wordy vocabulary, but it allows the opportunity for you to really have a very rich learning experience to develop your professional teaching skills over the 4 years in Gaelic. The entire course, the 4 years, is in Gaelic, and it's really, you couldn't get a better setting or starting ground on your career in teaching, in Gaelic teaching, than coming onto this BA. Whatever your journey is to coming to us, it's a fantastic grounding, and it's great to see. Just when I came in there, Shona was saying Rachel and all the previous students that we've had making their stamp in the world, in the Gaelic education world, and it really is. It's a very special thing, and it's something that we've needed for a long time, I think, in Gaelic education. And it's fantastic that we offered it, and we're the only people that offer such an experience at Sabhal Mòr. So yeah, it's very much our USP, I would say, is the immersive Gaelic nature of the programme and of being here. Indeed, not just the programme, but being part of the Sabhal Mòr community now. And well, Rachel still talks about it, so she was here. You never really leave, I don't think. Sabhal Mòr makes its mark, definitely.
No, definitely. We don't really want them to leave. We want them to still remember their very positive learning experience at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. So that is good. Lots of people ask as well about in the course about distance learning. Are you able to study the course from home? We offer the option to study via distance learning during years 3 and 4, though we would recommend that you stay on the campus if possible. And that gives you the opportunity to build up your skills, to continue to work collaboratively with your fellow students. And if you do opt for distance learning in years 3 or 4, then distance learners access their modules and their learning via video conferencing, and they're still very much part of the class, but they're not going for coffee with the rest of their students. They're not, going for dinner afterwards. They're not maybe going to the Cayley at night. So I think both Rachel and Christina have experience of staying on the campus and living on the campus further up the course. Would you recommend that if possible, Rachel or Christina?
%. I didn't want to talk over. I was paranoid. 100%. Yeah. When I was in my 4th year at university, I was actually the only one on the course on campus. Everyone else was online. But I think so there's 2 things that I always take away from Sabhal Mòr is my confidence and my connections. And I think being on campus for the 4 years really allowed me to make connections with other students, other visitors coming on campus, you know, being able to converse with them in Gaelic. But not only that, you know, now I end up having people coming into my classroom to enrich the pupils' learning experience and to kind of show them Gaelic in a wider context. And the majority of the people are people that I've met at Sabhal Mòr or on my placements. You know, I'm in meetings now with some of the teachers who used to teach me when I was on placement in the schools. And I think that's something that you do kind of miss out if you go online, because you're not there 24/7. You're not getting to meet everyone that's coming in and out, or kind of passing through. So definitely my confidence and my connections were two things that I gained from Sabhal Mòr, and especially from staying on the campus for the 4 years. Yeah.
Tapalat or sunshine. I think it is important, but obviously people have commitments elsewhere, and you know, perhaps a family commitment or something that would you know, it would make more sense for them, or be able to complete the course if they complete it by distance learning, and that's fine as long as they have schools nearby where they could actually do their school placements. Then that wouldn't be an issue for us in years 3 and 4. But you know, we've talked about the social side of things and the ceilidhs and the fun, and we've also said that, you know, it's a tricky course. We have high expectations of our students. It's a full-time course, and we do expect full commitment from our students, not just in terms of attending class, but in what they're doing, how they're representing Sabhal Mòr on their school placements. And I think it would be fair to say that school placements are particularly full on, and students must be prepared for a really heavy workload during these times. And you know, we expect a lot, but we also hope that they're gaining a lot from that. Christina, I know that you've only done a week of school placement so far. I don't know if you've got any thoughts about what's ahead of you in terms of school placement in January.
Well, yeah, I have lots of thoughts about it, what's ahead of me. Yeah, we've just been kind of preparing for that at the end of the term just now. But so, as you said, I've just done that first week back in October, which is just, it's fantastic for just getting to know the place, easing in gently, getting to know the class, starting to think already about, okay, well, what's the next placement going to look like, and what sort of things can I pick up on just now that I can then use when I go into my next placement in January, because you know that it's going to be, like you said, the workload's going to be so heavy and there's a lot to do. So yeah, that first week's really given us really good preparation for thinking about that already.
Scannial Taplacht. And I think that, you know, what you're saying there is true as well, and it's worth saying that normally students are attached to one school for 1 year of their course, and then they move on to another school for the next year, and that gives them different contexts for learning. They're in different settings. Sometimes they might be in an all Gaelic primary school. Sometimes they might move then to a small Gaelic unit within mainly English primary school. And so we want them to experience lots of different contexts, so they're then ready to take on wherever they're going to be, wherever they're going to end up in their first year of teaching. I think it's worth saying as well that, you know, although we've maybe been talking about the transition from school and from, you know, making your UCAS application, that, you know, students don't necessarily come to us directly from school. We've really had quite a wide range of students on the course, some who have come directly from school, some others who have worked first. As Christina said herself, she's done another degree before she came to us. Some have been pupil support assistants in school and then have decided to embark on a career in teaching themselves. So we welcome applications from people who, with a range of experience, and we just look forward to them all working together and to learning from each other. That's also very, very important. And to collaborating with each other in classes as well. That's a really important aspect of their learning in terms of seeking a career in teaching. And if you want to, if there's anything you'd like to discuss before making an application, please again feel free to contact us about that. I suppose you might be thinking as well, that's all very well. I have 4 lovely years at university, but what are my prospects? What am I going to do when I leave university? Well, in this course, perhaps more than some other courses, you know exactly where you're going at the end of this course. As I was saying, Gaelic teachers are very much in demand these days. You only need to go on to maybe Operichen Gaelic and have a wee look there and see what jobs are available in Gaelic, and you'll find a lot of jobs available in Gaelic teaching. So you would start with a salary of around about £27,000, round about there. Your first year of teaching is, of course, guaranteed as well. On passing the course, you'll automatically be given a teacher induction year in a local authority, and you'd be in a class in a Gaelic setting. There, I'd be very much surprised if you were to be unemployed at the end of that year, if you don't want to be unemployed at the end of that year. There really are terrific opportunities in Gaelic teaching, and you can also continue to develop your skills and knowledge whilst you're working on the new MEd in Gaelic Education. That's a part-time online course, also based at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig, so you can take your learning to a whole new level there, should you choose to continue your studies. Also, the normal route people would go to fund their studies would be to go to SAS and to get some perhaps a student loan, and SAS would pay your fees. And money is obviously an issue for everyone at the moment. Bord na Gaelic offer support to students studying on Gaelic medium teaching courses, and if you were to be successful in getting a place on the course, then we would give you information about how you would apply for a grant for each year of the course. So that's a very useful little pot of money for you whilst you're working on the course and working towards your degree. Also, and I'm not sure if Rachel did that or not, and in a way it doesn't really matter, but there's also an opportunity for you to say, I don't really mind which local authority I go to, I'll just take my chance, and you can sign a waiver. And you'll then, if you do that, then you'll then be provided with an incentive payment of, well, round about £6,000 for primary teachers and round about £8,000 for secondary teachers, if you choose to just send me where you need a teacher for a year. So again, that's not an insignificant sum in these difficult times. And that doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes you need to be, you have family commitments or whatever in a particular area, but it can work for those who have a little bit more flexibility. And so that's worth considering. And that's worth considering as well.
It's win-win-win, Shona. Why would
Certainly
you not want to?
I'm sure you've already started your UCAS applications, but you might be wanting to have a wee think about that. You apply through UCAS. Just at the end of the a presentation tonight, there's a QR code which has a direct link to the SMO pages and the course information on SMO and also on UHI websites, and that course information is available in Gaelic and in English. And the first UCAS deadline is the 25th of January. So you need to get started on your application quite soon, your personal statement, making sure you've got a referee if you haven't done all that, and you want to start next August. But we would continue to process applications after that. So all is not lost, but you know that applying before that date would give you the earliest results, not just from us at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig or from UHI, but from other courses that you may have applied to at other universities too. So you'll need 3 hires at B or C or above, and preferably one of these would be Gaelic, either learners or fluent speakers Gaelic. Also, all teachers in Scotland must have a higher in English at C or above, and Maths National 5 or an equivalent conversation qualification at C or above. So you need Maths and English at higher, and a higher for Maths and National 5, or standard grade credit, or intermediate 2, something like that, O grade, which is what I would have myself, at C or above. And if you're just thinking now, oh, well, I might still switch off because I don't have those qualifications, all is not lost, because there are opportunities to gain these qualifications, online courses that you can access if you are interested in the course. And if you had the other necessary qualifications, but you didn't have your, let's say, Maths at National 5, then you could start the course and complete that National 5 qualification during the first year of your course. That wouldn't prevent you from getting in, but you would need to complete it during your first year. And we would also invite you to a selection event. All students aiming to be teachers in Scotland have to attend some kind of interview or selection event for a teacher education course. So we would invite you to that. It would normally be online, and you would work with other applicants and would see how, obviously, how you work with other people, what your thoughts are on teaching, how you might use your imagination in the classroom to engage the pupils and to keep their attention. So these are the kind of things that we would ask you, and we would ask you to work with other applicants to have a think about. You'd also have to complete a PVG disclosure check before starting your school placements. But again, we would send you information on that once you have secured a place on the course. Okay, so I'm not sure if we have any other questions have come in. I don't know if one question that I thought might be appropriate for Rachel and Christina would be, what makes a good teacher? We're here talking about the teaching course, but how do you know when you're in the presence of a good teacher? What are you aiming for as a teaching student? Rachel or Christina, do you have any thoughts about that?
It's enthusiasm and passion, I would say. If you are enthusiastic about the language, then that's definitely going to come across, not just in your classroom, but whole school as well, and within the community. I definitely feel like that's one of them. And the other thing is being kind of open. That's not the right word. I can't think of the right word in English, but being open to change, being open to new ideas, being open to collaboration across departments, across other teachers across Scotland, and kind of willingness to try new things. So I would say that's definitely the things that I am working on still.
I don't think you had to do much work there, Rachel, to be honest. I think you had it in spades anyway. Christina, I don't know if you get any thoughts just after your first week of school placement.
I think taking the time to get to know your class, getting to know them all individually, what are their strengths, what are their likes, what don't they like, just getting to know them as people. I think that's a pretty good basis.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, just getting to know them all as individuals. They are individuals, they all have individual needs, and it's up to the teacher to find a way to make sure that their individual needs are met, and they feel that they have a place in the class, and they have a place in the school, and that we're preparing them for their place, to take their place in society. And that's really important. Tathlat Shona sin. Just Tilly.
No, I was just going to add on to that, not just their place in society and how they're going on, but also their Gaelic identity and who they are within the Gaelic world, and that's changing all the time. And indeed, that the question is often debated of who is a Gael, what is a Gael, and I think it's a huge part of our jobs as educators is to create opportunities for them to discover that themselves, and it's hugely rewarding. It's a wonderful job.
Absolutely, I couldn't have put it better myself. Very important. We have a wee promotional video. I'm just wary of the time. It features one of Rachel's colleagues on the course, Amy Mackay, who did the primary teaching course. Let's watch Amy, and we'll just pull things together then at the end.
Amy NicCarmaig, samas le herige hami agus hami the course BA Gaelic agus Fulham. Bami Thigibh Beò a bhí Jan Rutgen an an Gaelic agus nuair de chola mí an an dainach mí an course seo. Bami diach smúneach bhfuil sé chorm bha a hawn a bhí a giúnsaach mú heagis trá bhíanna Gaelic agus gré diach chorm I bhí a hawn. Déimi dábhlianna iad a lárach héin san nuair sin ruinich mí ag táiseach a drés blianna gunjanin iad astare agus héad cóirsta dim go mór héad bhí a cúparcha uamsach má soundtrá VC vis bhí gaiannig sa mar sin ha mí féchgin a teacher agus na hálaních eile has an teomar sa mar sin há fadach gin chabhór go bhfuilú as an teomar cádua. Ha ag dhéis scoiliad cóirtim go mór le gur sin rud smá ha cóirtim as a chuair seo bhí sin chur seacha tóireach gine as na scoiltim agus he go má intinach tíach a bhí céitidáis agus bhí smuinnig ag chiad lá chaáin is nuair sin a bhí céitid far bhfuilú drásta agus an daimhan na ha iad stiacha le chuid an chláin agus na teacher yn pwydio. Hedd fi sgynal fi as na herig at sa hami giwnsach agus gahar a cha sgol chofash garan hedd i ach 5 minuten was a rad so mar sin chanil fatach gym ddigoth agus ha a Gaelic ma later as chersnach. Volins yn cwrsig at dynis y fi gaharach ma hat y smwynhig i'r tsykish gys gaharach tsykish trofian y Gaelic. Course in machen.
Ach, and gleich wo Amy just wise words from Amy. Amy completed the primary course, as she said, and she's now working in Gaelic medium primary education in the Western Isles. So it's great to see Amy again. So just wary of the time, and just a very quick commercial break before you go. As I said, this is the first of a few sessions that we're going to have over the next few days and weeks, and you'll have the opportunity to attend another session tomorrow. That's the Cúrsa Comais session. That's the year 1 course for Gaelic intermediate learners. That's the course that Christina completed. So if you are thinking about coming to Sabhal Mòr, you're thinking about doing the teaching course, and you're a Gaelic learner, then that session tomorrow night would be very useful to you. And also next Tuesday, the 13th, we have a session on Gaelic as Connaltrach. That's the course that Rachel completed in year 1 as a fluent speaker. And also, if you already have a degree and you're considering a career in Gaelic teaching, then the session on PGDE, the postgraduate PGDE course, might be the one for you, and that takes place next Wednesday the 14th, and Gwen will be leading that one. Then after the holidays, we've got hopefully Dr. Decker Forrest will lead a session on the BA in Gaelic and Traditional Music, and Katrina Johnson will lead a session on the DIP HE in Gaelic Media on the 25th of January 23. So that's a date for your diary, and you find more information about all these sessions on the SMO website, and you can also sign up for our course lecture for our newsletter so that you don't miss out on any of the action at Sabhal Mòr over the next months and weeks. So that brings our session to a close. Volumes of thank Vór a horse the Rachel, the Christina, agus the Gwen. I'd like to thank Rachel, Christina and Gwen for keeping me on the straight and narrow here tonight, and also Skipper Marikachuk, the marketing team, working furiously behind the scenes to keep everything going here. So mór an thank uleg agus ha mi mór an dochas gan beachig Driach and the Chicas. We really do hope that you consider this course and that you consider a career in Gaelic medium education. Míle thank agus aiche valid.